we're gonna go get some chicken.
What's crack-a-lackin'? Our chicken or sauce is both let's smack it. What can I do for you?
For those of you who are wondering, I took my seatbelt off when I got to Cane's. Have you ever had Cane's? I'm gonna show you Cane's chicken. Today's cruise news, it's a little crazy. And Carnival's coming out with a warning to all of you with future cruise credit. So you're definitely gonna wanna pay attention to today's story. And there's some other tidbits that we gotta get to. All right, we got the Cane's. They weren't thrilled about me filming inside, so I always get in trouble. Let's roll the cruise news. Now, be prepared to behold what chicken should look like. Oh, heaven in a box. Hey, welcome to the Midships YouTube channel. I'm your Captain Corey here, serving up a fresh plate of that cruise news. Well, you saw me go on my chicken run, and no, not that chicken run. Gotcha! We've got cruise news and a question of the day to get into before we do just that. And today's question of the day, I'm gonna get some fighting words on this one like usual, because if you've cruised recently in the last few years, you know the straw situation on board most of these cruise ships is a dire one, because your choice is between a flimsy paper straw that dissolves the second your lips touch it, or a nasty sticky candy cane straw that you can't touch with your fingers for fear of them feeling like a 2-year-old's who's just left the candy store. So, the question of the day, on a cruise, what's your favorite type of straw? Go ahead and leave your answer down in the comments below. And alternative straw haters, rejoice! I have a news story today that's gonna be right up your alley. But we begin today with a reminder that if you have future cruise credit with Carnival Cruise Line, that's why I wore the shirt, as a result of the whole pandemic shutdown, you have till March 31st to get your cruise booked and use your credit, or else the credit at least goes away. The cruise line should have sent you a reminder. They should also have reminded your travel partners. Remember that if you had a cruise and you took the future cruise credit, if it was a 6-night or longer cruise, you not only have 100% credit on the cost of the cruise, you also have $600 on board credit. So you need to call in and tell Carnival about that as well. Now, if your cruise was 5 nights or less, not only do you still have that 100% future cruise credit for the cost of your cruise, but you have a $300 onboard credit that you can use in your room. So folks, you might want to get on this today because you got 4 days left to choose whether to use this onboard credit or not before all that bonus onboard credit goes away. And something tells me Carnival's probably going to be pretty happy to see the credit go away because it's essentially just a loss for them at this point. So don't expect much leniency after the 31st of March if you missed the cutoff window. Now, don't get this confused because you can still use your future cruise credit after March, but it's the onboard credit, that $300 or $600 bump that you get applied to your stateroom is what's going away after this deadline. And it should be pretty easy to find a cruise to book because with 22 ships already sailing and a 23rd set to debut in like a week's time, you should have a lot of good options for a cruise and take advantage of all those credits that you might have accrued. And if you're wondering about that 23rd cruise ship to restart for Carnival, yeah, it's gonna be the Carnival Splendor. She's gonna begin operations from Seattle, Washington on May the 2nd. If you recall, that's one of the 2 ships that repositioned here from Australia due to that extended cruise shutdown they've got going on. And speaking of repositioning cruise ships and extended shutdowns, we've got one coming here from the Asia Pacific market to the US for the first time in like 10 years as a result of a similar shutdown issue they're facing over in that market. And I'm gonna tell you about it as soon as I remind you that I'm something of a t-shirt designer myself. Now, I have a fantastic store full of tees, Vs, hoodies, crew necks, tank tops, all kinds of things, custom designs made by yours truly, moi, Captain Corey. And if you'd like to check out some of those fantastic designs, maybe you'd like to rock some Midships logoed merch, or you just want to pick up some really nice looking cruise shirts, things like the I Bought the Drinks package shirt, Cruise Duck Hunting Champion, or Loyal to Royal. All the designs can be found in the link down below this video, and I think I'll put one up here in the upper right-hand corner if you're on your phone. You know, it's probably this corner, I don't know. Thank you so much for considering a purchase at that store. It does directly help support this cruise news and the Midships channel. Helps keep me cruising. And speaking of cruise ships repositioning and Loyal to Royal, why don't we talk about the ship that's coming over here from the Asia Pacific market? Her name? The Voyager of the Seas, and she's being redeployed to the US later this year. And additionally, she's also being redeployed to Europe before that. Royal Caribbean has made the tough decision to reposition the Voyager as a result of slim pickings for cruising in the Asia Pacific market right now. And it's obviously due to all of the pandemic response that's going on over in that part of the world right now. So Voyager of the Seas will first begin operations in the European market April 24th from Copenhagen, Denmark. She'll run a series of European and Baltic cruises, but not to St. Petersburg, through the end of August, before taking a transatlantic cruise on September 4th to her new home port in Boston, Massachusetts. And beginning September 18th, out of the US, you can take a series of Canadian and New England cruises out of Boston. So you and your cousin from Boston can sip your Sam Adams up in Bar Harbor or Nova Scotia. You'd look really good on board that ship in that Loyal to Royal shirt, right? You know, the one that's right over here, this one? Yeah, that one right there. You look really darn good in that on board this ship or any Royal Caribbean cruise for that matter. So, we need to take the cruise news in another direction, and that's to broken cruise ships. You'll all remember that Norwegian had a cruise ship that ran aground. Her name, the Norwegian Escape. Well, the March 12th and March 19th sailings have already been canceled for this ship, but just yesterday, yet another sailing, a third one in fact in a row, has been canceled as a result of this grounding incident that occurred. A lot of you recall that I recently put out a video on my channel, well, kind of roasting a commenter for calling me a clickbaiter, saying I was making all sorts of assumptions about this cruise ship being heavily damaged. I mean, all I was doing was saying we don't know, but this could be. Well, we're getting pretty darn close to this ship now being out of service for almost a month. So, as a result, I would say there's likely some more damage going on than Norwegian is letting on to. So, only time will tell what's going on with Norwegian Escape. And speaking of cruise ships that are damaged, Carnival doesn't escape this problem either, because the Carnival Glory is also in need of some repairs. So much so that they've changed some port calls for an upcoming cruise. Now, just like Norwegian, Carnival hasn't really let on what the issue is with the Glory. However, they have said there's some repair work that needs done on some of the ship's docking machinery, which that could be a lot of things. So I'm not even going to speculate. I'm not even going to throw out a single word except for, is the anchor broken? They don't use the anchor to dock. You can laugh at that one. You know I'm being facetious, right? Okay, so we have to see here what goes down with the repairs on the Carnival Glory. It's slated to take place sometime around March 30th, the end of the month. So we'll keep a watchful eye out for what's going on with the Glory and the Escape. And while we're talking about Carnival cruise ships, there's some really bad news because they're scrapping one and it's looming really close. The Carnival Sensation, one of those last fantasy class ships, she is officially now on her way to the breaker's yard. She's slated to arrive there on April 4th, and we'll have a little bit of an update then, and maybe we'll even be able to find some video of the Sensation when she takes her final horn blast as she beaches herself at the breaking facility. I hate this kind of news. Remember that fantasy class? They're dying so quickly. There's 3 of them left, and as of early October of this year, there'll only be 2 left. You might remember I'm taking the final cruise ever on the Carnival Ecstasy October 10th. And speaking of cruises that I'm taking, remember just a few weeks later on October 24th, I'm hosting a group cruise on Carnival Sunshine out of Charleston, South Carolina. We're going to cruise down to Carnival's private island, Half Moon Cay. It's going to be a really good time. We've got a giant Facebook group already in the works of folks interested or who've already booked on board this group cruise with me. So if you want some more information, it's a great resource for you. There's a link in the description below to that Facebook group. And in case you're wondering, yeah, you can join the Facebook group for more information, even if you haven't booked on the cruise. Oh my gosh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to tell you about the plastic straw story. Remember the question of the day was, what kind of straw do you like to use on a cruise? Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I like to use a plastic straw. I'm a naughty boy. But let's be real. They're the best drinking experience. You know it's true. Well, there's a new kind of straw hitting the market, and they're starting to show up on some of Royal Caribbean ships. They're called strawfish, and according to the company, they are able to fully biodegrade in an environment like a landfill with no oxygen in like half a year time. So far, the straws have appeared on Jewel, Freedom, and Harmony of the Seas, but fingers crossed they'll get rolled out to the rest of the fleet soon. And Carnival, MSC, Norwegian Virgin Princess, Holland America, everybody else with cruise ships, go to strawfish.co and order those for your ships too. If you're a cruise line staffer who makes these kind of decisions, I think you should try them out. Strawfish.co. Hey, Strawfish, do you want to sponsor me? I literally just gave you a great ad. So from my reporting, I found that the straws hold up far better than any other alternative types of straws on the market right now. It gives you basically a plastic straw-like experience, which we all know is the pinnacle of straw design as far as the user experience is concerned. And hopefully, we'll find them rolled out across the fleet here sooner or later. Because let's be real, nothing ruins a perfect drink up on the pool deck quite like a straw that fully collapsed and you start eating paper after like 2 sips. So if you made it this far into today's episode, make sure you've given a giant thumbs up on today's video so YouTube knows it's a good video. While you're down there, make sure you're still subscribed to my channel. And until next time, we'll see ya on the Midships. Also, there's a cookie update. Remember I baked cookies the other day? Yeah, here's all that's left of them.
La 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 la